Stoop Stories.
Hey, welcome back to Stoop Stories. Really excited to be here with everybody today. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have a really important topic we've been talking about a lot around Southwind. It's this concept of things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And man, it really hits home for me personally when I think about this because, you can't necessarily know in the moment all the time if things are going to work in your favor. But as you take a time to reflect and you look back, you always can find situations that at the time maybe felt really painful or really hard, but really gave you, the necessary information, insight, the learning that helped you grow and develop.
As you say that, I'm thinking about a couple things. One, if you're writing things down and you journal during these Stoop Stories, having the creator's mindset is everything in this entire dynamic because you either have a creator's mindset or a victim mindset. If you feel like things are happening to you, then you're a victim. If you think that things are happening for you, you're a creator because you're thinking of ideas that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. And I think specifically about times in my life where I had the victim mindset and I felt that everything was happening to me, not for me. First and simple examples would be, football. Anybody who's an athlete, at one point they weren't starting, and guess what they felt?
Yeah, wronged.
I should be starting.
Yeah.
All right, that could have been my middle name in my sports career, right? I should be starting. They're not giving me the attention I deserve. You name it. But when I put on the creator mindset, sat in the driver's seat and started to do things that equaled me starting in whatever sport I was playing, the circumstances changed.
Yeah, so much is coming to me when you're talking about that. I read this quote the other day, and it says that pessimists sound smart, but optimists change the world. And I think about the creator mindset versus the victim mindset. A victim mindset is a pessimistic way of looking at life. We're saying things like, hey, this happened to me and I can't believe it happened to me, or I did everything right and I'm getting screwed, or so-and-so doesn't understand, instead of looking at it like, well, look, here's where I am right now, and I trust that whatever's happening, it's for the betterment of my life, and I trust that whatever happens moving forward, I'll have the necessary skills and information to thrive, to continue to improve my life. And there's always two ways to look at it. This happened to me, or this happened for me. And you can really look at just about any situation that's happening right now in your life, and you can make that conscious decision to change the way you're thinking about it. Got passed up for a job. Did that happen to you or happen for you? What do you think?
Well, it definitely happened for you.
Why? Why?
Because if it should have been you, it would have been
100%. Because everybody's in this to win too, right?
Yeah.
You think about the football analogy you had. I'm sitting on the bench. You realize that coach gets paid to win games, and if he loses, guess what happens?
He loses his job.
He gets fired, and if he has a family, guess what happens to them?
They got to move.
They got to move. So if the game is on the line, the stakes are super duper high, trust and understand that people are going to put the best foot forward that gives them the best opportunity to win and nothing else.
Yeah.
So if you were ready, you would have been the guy. If you had done everything you needed to do in practice ahead of time to prove that you were the guy, you would have been the guy. But you didn't, so you sat.
I believe that now.
Yes, but it takes time because in at the moment, our ego and our emotions, they flare up and we feel helpless. And we feel like things are, affecting us negatively and somebody's responsible for it, and we don't ever want to point the finger at that it's us, that we're the cause.
Southwind has helped me point the finger at myself. And what I've learned in my experience, what makes owning the outcomes of everything really challenging because they're happening for us, is the amount of work that comes with that type of mindset. If I have the ability to change all of the outcomes in my life, that's going to require some hard work.
Let me give you a quick tip and something I think about often when I'm put in a position that's unfavorable, or like I'm doing something I don't want to do, or I'm, in a place I don't want to be. I think, what am I supposed to be learning from this? That's what I ask myself internally. Like, what am I supposed to be learning right now? That puts me in the creator mindset, right? Because just like everybody, I'm not immune to feeling salty or shitty about a varying amount of different things. Like, there's going to be things that come up even in my life where I'm like, damn, this is some bullshit. But then I stop myself and I think, what am I supposed to be learning here? And that simple question shifts my mind and starts to have me thinking about, or having a higher sense of awareness on what is positive or what can I take away from it. That way I don't lose, I just learn.
That's really good. I think in that moment that you're talking about, having someone to leverage to say, hey, am I thinking about this the right way? That is a believable party. Super important. You know, in this, it was funny. So Hannah and I, we met up. I surprised her. We did a happy hour. We went on a date last night. And what was really awesome about it was the conversation. And we actually talked about going from the stoop to where we are today, and the conversations that we used to have versus the conversations that we have.
Yeah, what were those conversations? What they used to sound like?
Victim. So literally, you know, the inspiration for the name of this podcast came from the stoop that I started on, and she joined me there, and she was working at the bar at the time, and that's where we met. So she came, joined me on the stoop. We did stoop activities on the stoop. My favorite drink was Patron. We may or may not have had something else there with us. We won't get into all that jazz.
Yeah,
but smoke was going up in the air.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And at the time, everything was happening to us. Woe is me. Look at what the judge is doing. I don't got enough money. I'm getting passed up on promotions. I didn't get this job and I applied for it. You know, you name it. Finances aren't right. My parenting schedule isn't right. The world is against me, and I don't know why. So I was effective at throwing pity parties. Only problem was no one was coming except me and Hannah. And our lives went nowhere. And our conversations were all about things that we felt we had no control over.
Yeah.
Look at all these things happening, and we have no influence over them. Now we're in a creator mindset where all we talk about is ideas and situations that are happening in real time and what we should be learning from them. And that puts us in the driver's seat. So even when we missed the mark, we actually didn't miss because we gathered very vital information that was worth whatever it cost us at the time because it happened for us. And if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have learned the fucking lesson, and we would have been not as informed as we are current state ultimately. So, you know, that conversation last night was a creator's conversation where we're talking about ideas, what we've learned from things that have happened to us because they actually happened for us.
You want to know something interesting is that, you know, when you've shifted yourself to a creator mindset, having the conversations about, like, when somebody has a victim mindset or they're like, man, it's hard to sit there in that because, like, you know, I've caught myself being in a, you know, several conversations where, you know, my mindset's not aligned with the mindset of the person that I'm speaking with. And they'll complain about normal stuff, man, all the things they have to do in their lives and all the trouble that's happening and I find myself wanting to solve their problems for them, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but you know, I think our goal here is to help people elevate from where they are mentally to where they can be. And I think that starts by information. So us providing that information, it's no doubt to me that there's people listening on this call that they're going through something tough right now. There's hard shit happening in everybody's life. And how they're looking at that, whether it be woe is me and poor me and I'm a victim here, or man, this is an opportunity. Where is the learning here? Those two things will be the difference between winning and losing, success and failure. And so our goal here is as we continue to do Stoop Stories, or we continue to, you know, operate our organization even. So it's like, how many people can we shift from that victim mindset of things happening to them to the creator mindset of things happening for them? And I think our success as an organization will be directly proportional to the amount of people that we have thinking like a creator, thinking as also I say like an owner. You know, an owner thinks of things in a way where it allows them to make moves, make decisions because they believe it's within their control. That's ownership. I control, right? Like, and then there's this other component where like I would call like we didn't even call them employees, but like an employee mindset or where it's like I work for him and he tells me what to do, which I hate. I hate that because we work together and only by us working together can we achieve the outcome. It'll never come by me telling you what to do and you just doing what I say because awareness will be low there, and if awareness is low, success is not likely to come behind it. So we need a higher sense of awareness, and as we do that, it's all about us having meaningful conversations like we're having right now, helping bring as many people as we possibly can to the other side, because most people it's easy to start in a victim mindset. It's easy to be there because I don't have to own the outcome. Somebody did that to me. It had nothing to do with me. And I get off the hook. I let myself off the hook. I don't take ownership or responsibility for my life. And because I didn't take ownership and responsibility for my life, guess what? It ain't my fault. I don't have to, that's not my fault. The room's dirty, shit. I didn't do it. Somebody else. The maid didn't come. Somebody didn't clean it.
And I would say it seems easy to live in that lane, but I like to say it's all fun and games until it's 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And you have to exist in the environment that you had worked to create.
Yeah, progress is what we're all looking for here. Everybody in every role in every place in America, across the country, and the world. Everybody wants to move forward. I've never asked the question to a group of people, hey, who wants to have more out of life? And nobody raises their hand. Everybody always raises their hand in the air and says, hey, that's me. I want more. I want to have more in my life. I want to be somebody. I want to do something. But then they leave that moment in time and they do nothing. They own nothing. They don't own it in their mind. And it starts with you having direct ownership of everything in your life. Everything that's happened to you or happening to you right now, you can choose to own that and move forward. Or you can choose to make believe that somebody else is doing it to you. Because the truth is, nobody's doing it to you but yourself. That's the facts. When you were on the stoop, you know who put your ass on the stoop?
I did.
You put your ass on the stoop. And you brought Hannah with you. And that often happens. You know, it often happens with people you love bring you down and don't lift you up.
Yeah. Yeah. And to that point, you know, I would ask the listeners at this time, write down your top 3 gripes right now. Write them down, identify what they are. Mm-hmm. And then next, think about who you have conversations with, who you're around the most. Because to your point, yeah, I pulled her down with me. We were on the stoop together. I'd also pulled my sons down with me because they spent time with me during that time, and they were influenced by my leadership. And other than that, the only other people around me were people who would buy the same type of bullshit or had the same type of mindset. So your 3 gripes is probably what you think about and talk about a lot. Who are you thinking with and talking to would be my next question.
Well, let me tell you what it should sound like. Give me 3 gripes. We'll start 3 separate gripes, and I'll hopefully be able to show you the way I would think about it or the way I think you should be thinking about it. 3 normal gripes that a human being traditionally has.
Man, my money ain't right.
Okay. The way I would say it is, I need to get more organized with my management of my resources. I do make money. What I do with my money matters. Okay? So I need to take control of how I spend it. I know right now I'm wasting a lot of money on DoorDash delivery or food or whatever it is, or I'm buying shit that I shouldn't get it. I don't have to stop doing everything, but I need to reduce it so I can get my money right. Also, I need to understand what it takes to make more money at where I'm currently operating. And if that's not on the table, I need to find a different opportunity where the ceiling is higher, right? And that's the way you should be thinking about it. Not my money's not right. These are the things I can do to make my money right.
I like that. This is an entrepreneurial podcast, so we'll go, man, I don't have enough jobs.
I don't have enough jobs? Great. Okay. So I don't have enough jobs. If I'm slow today, I have a couple choices. All right? First and foremost, I can sit there and do nothing, or I can go out and find opportunity. I never met a guy who could find opportunities from behind their desk. Like if you're an entrepreneur in a home service business, for instance. You need jobs. Unless you're a great outbound dialer, then you need to get your ass up and do something. And if you don't have jobs today, you also have people. And your people, you have to expand. You can't subtract. Yeah, you might not have jobs today, but you have 5 to 12 to 15 to 20 people. Like, you are only one person, but if 20 people are out there looking for opportunities, it's a lot easier to find. So I'm going to inspire my team, and we're going to go hunt today. No job, so great. This is a great opportunity for us to hunt. We ain't hunted in a while. It's time to dust off our claws and our fangs and go find some fucking food.
I like it. I like it. Last one, which I think is pertinent. This was actually a real gripe I think I gave you this week. Man, trying to gain alignment with my significant other. She want me to do everything.
Yeah.
There's not enough of me to go around.
Yeah, so I would say, like, man, first off, grateful that I have somebody who wants me around. How do I ensure that I'm doing my part and we're aligned moving forward? And that starts by me spending the time necessary to understand what the expectations are and then working hard to meet them. Because at the end of the day, do you want your significant other to be happy?
100%.
Okay, happiness comes by expectations being met.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the expectations, really hard to meet them.
Yeah, man, that's three great examples, three great responses, and it all points back to who are you having these conversations with? A lot of times when you're in the victim mindset where you feel that things are happening to you, you're having the conversation with yourself in your own head, and then you're giving yourself the response. And if you're not thinking right, you're not going to validate or course correct yourself appropriately. And in that moment where I reached out and it was about, leaving work at a specific time, and timing is everything. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I tried to pull you down with me, and you didn't buy the bullshit. You actually said, yeah, you need to find a way to do it all.
Yeah.
Because all parts matter in this scenario. So you need to do both.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, like, hey, there's a work-life balance thing out there, which I understand the term, but life is about priority. It's not about balance. Balance comes by way of managing your priorities effectively. So, like, my family my wife, she loves to go on vacation. I like going on vacation too, but a lot of times I'm super fucking busy. We got a lot of stuff going on here. And so I get this internal feeling where I don't want to go, right? I got stuff to do, but I go anyway for her. And I had to recognize a while back that, like, relationships are incredibly important. And if she's unhappy, it makes me unhappy. So I need to do things that make her happy and still manage to do the things I need to do professionally. And I do them at the same time. I make time. I might wake up early. My family sleeps till 7. So if that means I got to get up at 6, I get an hour worth of work. There's different times throughout the day on the vacation where I can manage to do the things I need to do and still be there. And like, also it reminded me that I need to build scale in my business. If this is what's important to my wife, then it's important that I can do it. So if I'm going to be able to do it, I have to teach other people how to operate like I operate. And if I can do that, then I can have the time and the flexibility, and therefore we can have a successful marriage and a successful business at the same time.
You nailed it. So if you lack scale in your organization, whose responsibility is
You
that?
are. You're responsible for building the scale, for
Agree.
teaching the people.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, I love this conversation. I think it's so important because people are like dealing with this every single day. And you made this comment about, you're really tussling in your own mind first. And then it's likely the next likely step is to find somebody to agree with you. Mm-hmm. So everybody wants to find someone to agree with you. It's rare that you seek somebody that you think will not agree with you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's rare. Most people don't do that. Most people will find a group of people. They call them what? Yes men, right? That's the word. You got your yes men, the people who agree with you, right? Like, that's a real term that was built, that's from early 1900s. Like, these are a group of yes men, right? Or company men is what they would call them. So those are a group of people who agree with you. Most people seek those people out because they don't want to be wrong. The right thing to do is seek somebody with an opposite perspective and ask them. Or a group of people with varied perspectives that are in varied levels of their life. Ask them what they think and then see how the response differs from what you're talking about in your mind.
All right, you nailed it. So we'll go back and forth on this one. Tons of great information exchanged on the podcast so far. Let's narrow it down to what next. You heard the podcast. We're at this point.
Yeah.
What the hell do I do after the podcast stops?
Well, first thing you do is you buy the book As a Man Thinketh. Okay, so buy that book. I think it's James Allen that wrote that book. It's super short read, like 80 pages of content, and start recognizing that, like, it all starts inside your mind first, and as you think, that's how as you go. So that's the first thing I would do. So gather a little bit of information, quick and easy information that maybe starts to shape your perspective. Second thing I would do is try to increase my awareness so I know when I'm, when I'm bitching to myself and I'm trying to feel sorry for myself. Because it's going to happen several times a day. Anytime my ego gets affected, and then ask myself, what am I supposed to learn here? All right?
Yeah, I got number 3. The single most important thing you can do: complete your intentional path. If you're a part of the Southwind organization, your leader has it. Contact me. I'll get it to you. You have to execute this, because you'll catch yourself doing that when you've identified who you want to become, what you value, what you prioritize, and you go back to that frequently, and that will change your life.
Yeah, I mean, in the
really
book we talked about, As a Man Thinketh, goes directly into that. And, we talk about outwitting the devil, calls it definite in purpose. James Allen calls it something else, but still same concept. Yeah. Like, we have to have intention in our life. What are we trying to do each day, each week, each month, each year? What's the aim? If you have no target, it's impossible to hit it.
Yeah, you nailed it. So those 3 things, you do that, you change your life and get on a better trajectory. Things don't happen to you, Josh. They happen for you. So get off the stoop. Let's make it happen.
Stoop Stories.